What's up everyone, welcome back to the Jack Sweeney YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking about how I plan on retiring off of Bitcoin. Because it's never too early to start planning for retirement. Sooner that you start planning for retirement, better you're gonna be in 10 years. Personally, I want to retire in style. So, let's say you've watched some of my prior videos and you've decided this is it. I see the network effects, I see the security, I see the value proposition of a decentralized, apolitical, global store of value, and I've decided to buy. What should my strategy be? Because everybody needs a strategy. This is not financial advice. I'm just gonna tell you guys what I'm doing. But we're gonna run some numbers and see what's realistic. Hopefully give you guys a good idea of how much you need to be buying to retire happily. So first we need to talk about growth rates. Okay, this is how we can calculate growth rates. If you're not very mathematically inclined, basically a growth rate is just the rate of return on an investment. The compound annual growth rate on Bitcoin is about 160% per year, depending on how you calculate it, which is utterly insane. We can compare these to other asset classes, such as gold, which has returned 1.97% over the past 10 years. S&P 500, which has returned an average of 11%. Tesla, doing pretty well, has returned 63%. And Amazon at 33.5%. So as you can see, Bitcoin has absolutely blown every other asset class out of the water in terms of compound annual growth rate. What does that mean for you? I'm gonna use a little calculator, which I took from this article here by Jeremy Garcia on Bitcoin Magazine. Let's just run some quick numbers. So these numbers are based off of the strategy of dollar cost averaging. Dollar cost averaging is such a simple strategy. Bitcoin's a very volatile asset. Therefore, it's best to spread your investment out over time. Similar to a Roth IRA or something like that, where you just deposit a set amount of dollars each month, each week, each day. When Bitcoin is higher, you buy less. When Bitcoin dips, you buy more. So over time, your stack is just slowly doing this. It's probably psychologically the easiest strategy to execute because you can simply just set it and forget it. Set a weekly buy, never touch it again, don't even have to think about it. Psychologically bulletproof. Because what happens is when Bitcoin's up, you're gonna say, oh no, I don't wanna buy, it's really high right now. And then when Bitcoin's down, you're gonna say, oh shit, it's gonna go lower, I should wait to buy. If you simply just remove the emotion from the equation and just buy at a given time interval, it makes investing in Bitcoin so much easier because it's really a mind game. So let's run some numbers. As I said earlier, Bitcoin grows at a compound annual growth rate of about 160 to 180%. But let's be extremely conservative here because Bitcoin's probably not going to sustain that growth rate over the next 20 years. It could sustain that over the next 10. Who knows? It's pretty hard to predict. But we can reasonably assume that it will at least continue to grow at an average of 30% over the next 20 years. And this is very conservative, in my opinion. Let's say you initially allocate $1,000. That's your initial allocation to your retirement account. And let's say that you dollar cost average $100 a month. We initially allocate $1,000 and we're also dollar cost averaging 25 bucks a week. So annually, we're adding $1,200 to our stack. If conservatively, Bitcoin continues to grow at 30% per year, after 20 years, we will be a millionaire. We will have $1.173 million. That's a pretty solid retirement right there. Not glamorous, right? Nothing crazy, but that's pretty solid. But let's say we don't want to wait 20 years to be a millionaire. If I waited 20 years, I'd be 42. Honestly, I'd be pretty content. But let's say I want to retire at 30. Currently 22, so that's 8 years away. But over the next 8 years, I'm fairly certain that Bitcoin's gonna grow at more than 30%. So let's just say it grows at 90%. With our $100 a month allocation and an initial $100,000 allocation, we'd be looking at $600,000 by the time I turn 30. Now that's pretty good, but let's get it to a mil. Let's say I can initially allocate $2,000, and instead of just putting $100 in a month, I'm gonna put $200 in, because I'm feeling fucking crazy, and I'm making bands. So that's $2,400 a year, millionaire in 8 years. That sounds pretty damn good to me. The key is removing emotion from the equation. That's why I'm dollar cost averaging instead of trying to time the market. My whole strategy is time in the market instead of trying to time the market. I don't know if you guys have ever tried to gain some muscle lifting weights, but if you haven't, gaining muscle and strength is all about time under tension. The more time that my muscle is flexing, the stronger it will get. It's not about how many reps you do. It's about the amount of time that the muscle is under tension. That's from a tweet that I found a while ago. Maybe I'll throw that right here. And I thought, wow, that's probably the best way to sum up my long-term Bitcoin retirement strategy. Time in the market, allowing my investment to compound, and simply sitting on my hands and dollar cost averaging. So I'm treating Bitcoin as my savings account. When it goes in there, it does not come back out. But let's say I have this $1 million worth of Bitcoin in 8 years, right? If I sell, I'm gonna have to pay 40% capital gains tax right there. Sounds absolutely horrible. So what does one do? Borrow against your asset. You could go to the bank, say, this is what I have. I want to take a loan out. Let's just say 10% of the value of that Bitcoin. And get a loan for $100,000. That's gonna be my living expenses, and I'll live off my Bitcoin. That way you avoid capital gains tax, and you can still reap the benefits of compound interest because you're still exposed in the market. Your Bitcoin will continue to appreciate in price. And the next year, maybe you can borrow more, pay the interest, borrow more, rinse and repeat. I'm not a financial expert, okay? This seems like probably the best possible retirement plan in existence right now. Not financial advice, guys. I'm just saying, if you got any more questions about Bitcoin or my retirement plans, leave a comment down below. And I hope you consider Bitcoin as the best retirement vehicle savings technology ever invented, because it is. Subscribe to my newsletter, follow me on Twitter, and join the Discord. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.